The boy opened a magical cabinet and the toy Indian actually came to life. The boy slowly stretched out his finger, but the toy dwarf stabbed him and threatened the boy not to get close. The boy had to explain to the dwarf, and upon realizing the boy meant no harm, the dwarf jumped onto his palm. Then the boy took out a toy tent for the dwarf to live in, but the dwarf disliked plastic, so the boy put the toy tent in the cabinet and closed the door. When the cabinet was opened again, the toy had turned into a real tent. In this way, the two became good friends. The boy took out more toys and put them inside. When he opened the cabinet, he was horrified to find Godzilla and Thanos fighting, and RoboCop battling soldiers. They even targeted the boy. So the boy quickly closed the cabinet, and when the door opened again, the toys were back to normal. The next day, when the boy woke up, the dwarf complained that the room was too boring, so the boy took him to the backyard. But an accident happened. The dwarf was almost eaten by a bird. The two returned to the room, and the boy found the dwarf's leg had been pecked by the bird. He took out a toy doctor, put it in the cabinet, and sure enough, the doctor also came to life. The boy then took him to see the dwarf, hoping he could treat the injury, and the doctor bandaged the dwarf's wound. After the doctor's task was done, the boy sent him back to the cabinet, and when the door opened, the doctor turned back into a toy. The dwarf wanted to build a big house and needed tools and materials. The boy found ropes and steel nails from the warehouse, but the dwarf still needed an axe. So the boy put an armored warrior toy in the cabinet. When the toy warrior came to life, the boy took his axe and the dwarf immediately started building the house. The next day, when the boy came home, the big house was already finished. The dwarf wanted a bow and arrow for hunting, so the boy took out a toy Indian chief to bring him to life, then took his bow and arrow. But when the chief saw such a giant he was so scared that he fainted. The dwarf came over to check and confirmed the chief had no heartbeat. The boy felt extremely guilty. Then the dwarf wrapped up the chief's body, and the two went to the garden to bury him.